Broadcasting live from Urban Ash Cigar Lounge, 601 Main Street here in Daytona Beach, Florida. It's the Hail Wildcats Gridiron Show. Gridiron Gang, it's game time. Let's flip the switch and do this. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2025 edition of the Hail Wildcats Gridiron Show. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Ralph Smith, Mr. Larry Wesley. We're the Gridiron Gang. Glad to be here at Urban Ash tonight, and every night that we're going to do the show every Thursday night, live 7:30. We're a little late coming on, but we're here. We're here. Hey. Guys, it's been a while since we've been here. Thank you to the crowd. Thank everyone for being here. Come on down, 601 Main Street here in Daytona Beach, Florida. Great location. Get food from downstairs, bring it upstairs. Everything you want to drink here. Ralph, how's it been since the last time we saw each other?
It's been a long time. It's been a long wait, ready for football.
Ready for football. Ready for football. How long have you waited for football, Ralph?
December 19th.
December 19th. I heard that. So during your off time, tell us some of the things you've been doing.
Well, basically, I'm a fisherman, so I've been fishing a lot. Just anticipating what the Wildcats going to look like in 2025. With the NIL, I mean, things change rapidly, week to week, month to month, so you don't know who you got in and who's leaving. So it's been sort of anxious and not sure what to expect.
Definitely not sure what to expect, but it's here now. We're less than 24 hours away from kickoff down in Miami, Florida, and our Wildcats going down to face the Panthers of FIU. Familiar guy across the way from us with Coach Simmons, but we'll get to that here pretty soon. So we'll be ready. My man Larry, how you doing, sir?
Oh, pretty good. It's football season. The footballs are flying around, and this is the official week one kickoff for football tonight. We've got TVs all around here and live action, and it goes all the way probably to midnight tonight. I can't say I'm happy enough. I've been waiting for a long time to get back in this.
Definitely a long time. Been waiting a long time to get back here, and it's here now. Yeah. It's definitely here. So we'll see what it brings us. So guys, that'll take us right into our preseason rankings. SWAC announces 2025 football predicted order of finish, and as you guys see here, what do you think about that?
I think a lot of guessing went into this because your top two teams lost about 40, 50 players.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They definitely did, Ralph.
I think Alabama State is unknown, and I know that Alabama A&M did get a really good coach. So I think it's going to be up in the air. I think anybody can win the East.
Yeah, definitely so. Anyone could win the East. Right now, the order of finish, they have Jackson State finishing number 1, FAMU finishing number 2, Alabama State finishing number 3, and Alabama A&M finishing number 4. Our Wildcats finishing number 5, and Mississippi Valley State finishing 6 in the East. In the West, looks like that Southern will finish 1, Alcorn will finish 2, Prairie View will finish 3, Texas Southern finish 4, and Grambling State will finish 5, and Arkansas Pine Bluff will round it out at 6. But it's any person's game, as we know, and it doesn't matter until you strap it on and go play the game. So that's what we're looking for.
Darold, you asked Ralph, what do you see here? I think the question is, what don't you see? Because the thing that most impresses me for the new season the fact that we have some new coaches in this conference, and there are a lot of people sleeping on these coaches based on the rank order of what we see here, because I think the conference has gotten a lot better with the caliber of coaches that are coming in, and I think they're going to be immediate impacts felt by these guys coming in. I speak specifically for Alabama A&M, Sam Shea coming over from Miles College. He brings half of his Miles team, which won the SIC championship last year. He's if that name sounds familiar, he's a former University of Alabama Crimson Tide linebacker, and a very good one at that. He's a defensive-minded coach, and I think they're sleeping on him. The same thing can be said about Prairie View and their new coach, who just played for the Division II National Championship.
Yes, sir. He sure did.
Last year, and came up
At
short.
Valdosta State.
At Valdosta State. His name slips me right now. I can see him. It'll come to me in a moment, but he's a young man, a young coach who has been successful everywhere that he's coached. And be very careful in the West. I think we have a good idea of what the East looks like, because the power team is the defending national champion of the HBCU football in Jackson State. They return a lot. But on the West side, based on what I saw from Southern the other night, you're not going to tell me Southern is the number one team in the West. I'm not buying that.
Well, I mean, there could be. It just might be the other teams below them are not quite up to it.
Yeah. Well, I think the scribes were not the guys who picked this listing of coaches and teams here. I think those were done by SIDs. I think fellow coaches, as well as media people from different media markets for SWAC schools. But I really think that there's an upgrade there, and watch out for those teams that are not ranked very high in this order. Prairie View is predicted coming third in the SWAC West. Alabama A&M is picked just above us in fourth in the East. I think both of those teams could be much higher than that. And when we get into the talking about the schedule for this coming week, right off the bat, we're going to have a couple of games that are going to really come in and take a good shot at how we have this order lined up, because that Mississippi Valley Southern game,
definitely,
that's a big football game for week number one.
Huge football game for week number one. And you got Coach Buckley, who I'm very familiar with, and all of us are very familiar with from, when he was coaching UFL, FSU, and he brought a couple guys with him that are very familiar.
He's got a similar connection over there, okay?
He definitely has that connection over there. He definitely has it. So we'll be interested to see what it entails. So who do you take in that game? And I know we'll get to that, but what are you thinking?
Well, I've only seen one half of the puzzle, and I saw something. They look very one-dimensional to me. Look, I'm not saying that I have a good team, but you're going to have to be balanced in this conference. You're not going to get it done one way. And so I think people like to put Mississippi Valley in the basement because that's where they've been. But there's a new sheriff in town. You have to kind of honor that. And until we see what kind of talent and what kind of scheme T-Buck is going to run out there. But I tell you, Southern's got to go to Mississippi Valley, and that is not going to be easy on Saturday.
I thought they were playing in Atlanta.
No, that's FAMU, FAMU and those guys. They were playing in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So now, guys, let's go to our all SWAC selections. Quite a few Wildcats ended up on this list. Jacobian Morgan coming out of Jackson State preseason offensive player of the year. You guys agree with that? I mean, he did kind of win the national championship last year as a quarterback. And then you had Southern's Kelby Givens as the defensive player of the year.
Right.
I hope he plays better than he played the other night.
Well, that's what I'm saying, Ralph. You know, they gotta have a much better production than what they put on TV the other night. Talking about Southern.
Right. Definitely talking about Southern and how they played the other night was just not stellar at all.
But now, if we flash back to 2024, we know who was the straw that stirred the drink for Jackson State. It wasn't a quarterback. It was the running back, okay? Irv was the guy. So Jacoby's a good player, but he won't have Irv back there. And it certainly made a big difference when you could turn around and just hand that football off and watch him go.
Right. Indeed. So let's go over the first team. We'll just go through the first team. Quarterback Jacoby Morgan, who we mentioned before. Running back Jacorian Sewell. Running back Thad Franklin Jr. from FAMU. Offensive lineman DeAndre Towns Blue, Jackson State. Charles Davis from FAMU, offensive lineman. Then we have offensive lineman Ashton Grable from FAMU. Ronald Brown, Alcorn State. Desmond Daniels, a former Wildcat, offensive lineman there at Alabama State. Nathan Rembert, who we're familiar with from the Eustis, Florida area. He's now at Jackson State. 1,000-yard receiver last year coming from coming from Mississippi Valley, transferred to Jackson State. Jones Fertillion out of Jackson State. And then their tight end, Marvin Landy, out of Jackson State. So they put quite a bit of players over there. But, yeah, I don't.
This is all preseason stuff, man. You know, everybody looks like a national champion until they play the first game.
Okay? Definitely so. Everyone looks like that until they play the first game. Then you have your SWAC. First team defensive lineman Kelby Givens, defensive lineman Jeremiah Williams out of Jackson State, defensive lineman Brian Cage from Grambling, Davion Westmoreland from FAMU, Stamarian Edwards, Alcorn State, Vincent Page Jr. Southern, Nayron Jenkins, a familiar name, FAMU, Keon Lewis, Alabama State, our own Antoine Watts from Bethune-Cookman, T.J. Huggins from FAMU, and Horatio Johnson from Southern, or out of Southern. So, what do you guys, I mean, like you say, until you play the game,
well, when you look at most of the preseason rankings are really
based on last year's results.
They're based on players' performance last year. Okay, and that's what it is. And you typically you're going to see your first team players normally are going to be a part of the higher ranking teams in the conference. So again, if this holds chalk at the end of the year, I take it all back. But it never does happen that way, because there's somebody lurking in the weeds that they don't know anything about, or who's just going to have a breakout year somewhere else. So this is pretty much, like I said, these are kind of things that media and SIDs put in when they typically come up with first team, second team defenses.
Let's just go through the rest of the teams. So second team offense, our quarterback Cam Ransom made it on there. And Malik Huggins, wide receiver, second team. This is all preseason. Second team defense, all SWAC. Adrian Hall from Bethune-Cookman. Malik Stennett, linebacker from Bethune-Cookman. Then we'll move, and that rounds it out, guys. That rounds it out. So we'll see what it beholds. That'll take us right into our SWAC schedule for this week. North Carolina Central and Southern. We won't talk about that game long. It was not good for the SWAC team. Ralph, what did you see in that game?
I thought it was going to be a lot worse than what it ended up in, because I thought that North Carolina Central want to run the ball, and I didn't feel that Southern was that good at stopping the run. So that game sort of ended up the way I thought it would, but I thought it would be a lot worse with Central being on top. But then the other thing I saw, though, which kind of surprised me, with Southern getting so much recognition, saying they're going to the Celebration Bowl, like Larry said earlier, they was quite one-dimensional.
They were very much quite one-dimensional, and it it showed. It showed greatly. Final score of that game: North Carolina Central 31, Southern 14. Tonight, we have Alcorn State playing Northwestern State. That's a 8 p.m. kickoff, which is 7 p.m. kickoff, so they should be playing now. Alabama State at UAB. That's an 8:30 p.m. kickoff. They should have kicked off at 7:30 tonight. Then on tomorrow, our Wildcats go down Pit Bull Stadium and face the FIU Panthers. And we'll get to more of that. That's a 7 p.m. kickoff there in Pit Bull Stadium. This Saturday, coming up, Hampton versus Jackson State. Anything interesting stand out for you guys out of that contest?
I think Hampton is a little bit better than people think.
I think so, too.
And that game could potentially be a pretty close game. It could. Just depends on how sharp Jackson State is. Because if Jackson is not sharp, and if they're putting the ball on the ground, turning it over, that game could be very, very interesting and go down to the final wire.
Definitely could be interesting going down to the final wire, and we'll see what we get from it. Howard at FAMU. That game's being played 4 p.m. on Saturday at Hard Rock Stadium down in Miami Gardens. So down the street from us on Saturday. We'll be playing on Friday night down the street from us at Hard Rock.
That's a very interesting football game.
Very interesting.
It's a rematch of the HBCU Celebration Bowl 2 years ago. And Howard is sort of flying under the radar. Larry Scott does a great job coaching. And he's got Edgar James, his son.
He does.
Back. And so they're going to run the football. And if they find some decent quarterback play, again, very interesting ball game to kind of look at. Florida A&M replacing a lot of people.
Yes.
An awful lot of people, and breaking in a brand new quarterback. It'll be very interesting to see. 4 o'clock Saturday in that heat, in that stadium. That is no joke, okay?
It is no joke at all, Larry. No joke at all. And we'll see how that bodes for those guys. We'll definitely see how that bodes for them. Alabama A&M and Arkansas. Yeah.
Money game.
Money game, huh?
And interested to see how Sam Shade plays this. He's a SEC player, so Arkansas is nothing new for him. But now coaching at the FCS level and taking his team, first game of the year in, knowing it's a money game. How long does he play as veterans, starters, or does he just go pick a check up and
get on out of there?
Alive.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see.
I'll be watching. I want to see what kind of scheme he comes up with. I know he's very defensive oriented, and so he'll have some schemes defensively. And I just kind of want to see how organized his team is. He brought his coaching staff with him and a lot of players, so there's familiarity there.
Yeah, there's definitely some familiarity there, and we'll see, man. We'll see. Southern at Mississippi Valley State, we covered that. That's a 5 p.m. kickoff, 4 p.m. kickoff there in Itabena with Coach Buckley's debut.
I'm picking Valley and the Delta Devils.
I'm going for Valley, man. I'm with Valley. I am definitely with Valley.
Might as well make it a threesome.
All right, good. I love it. I love it. Langston versus Grambling. That's a 7 p.m. kickoff in Shreveport, Louisiana. Uh, yeah.
Langston is one of those teams that's on the other side of Mississippi, but they back in the day they were very good. When Felton Gales was a head coach there years ago.
Aren't they? Are they Division II though? Or they NIA?
They NIA.
Yeah.
NIA. And we just don't get a lot of intel on them. It'll be interesting to see how Grambling fares at home. They should roll. They should look good.
They should.
If they don't and it's close, then there'll be some concerns about Grambling as well.
There will be some concerns about Grambling, but we'll see. New uniforms for them. Just trying to bring that culture back up there at Grambling with Coach Joseph. Arkansas Pine Bluff at Texas Tech, another money game. That's 7:30 p.m. kickoff Saturday in Lubbock, Texas.
Texas Tech has been spending money. Okay, they've been real aggressive. And they had a good ball club last year, but they put a ton of money into the portal.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely put a ton of money into their portal. Ton of money in there. And then Prairie View at Texas Southern. That's an 8 p.m. kickoff in Houston.
That's the
State Fair.
The Labor Day
Classic. Right.
Yeah. It's a rivalry game, so it will be interesting to see the outcome. I know Prairie View is very high on their new coach and the staff that he's brought in. So, guys, I'm gonna be busy Saturday channel surfing looking at this.
You already said it, Larry.
Right.
It started tonight, right?
Right.
So glad. Come on down. 601 Main Street here in Daytona Beach, Florida, overlooking beautiful Main Street. Join us for Ralph. What did you have for dinner before the show started?
I had chicken wings, garlic chicken wings.
Garlic chicken wings. How were they?
They were delicious, and I didn't eat them all because I couldn't.
Yeah, definitely.
But they were delicious.
And then when we were here the other day,
Food was good.
Yeah.
Food was good.
What did you have, Larry?
I had the shrimp po' boy, and the shrimp were very good.
How about you, Ralph?
I had catfish.
And I had wings. The wings are, like you say, huge. So come on down. Come see us, 601 Main Street. Thankful for the owners here at Urban Ash Cigar Lounge for allowing us to have the Gridiron Show here at Urban Ash. Come on out. Get you a great cigar. Get you some beer, alcohol, wine, New Orleans food, man. Come and see us. Guys, that'll take us right into where we left off, postseason 2024, the spring game, preseason, staffing, facilities, expectations, administration, fans, and donors. But first, I know we're called the Gridiron Show, right?
Yes, sir.
But we're going to spend the next hour and talk about basketball, right? Because that's all we see with advertisement and things of that nature surrounding Bethune-Cookman.
Don't get started.
What you mean, Ralph?
Don't get started.
Huh?
We haven't played our first football game, and we're being bombarded about what we're going to do in basketball. I don't get it. Help me out, somebody. Help me out.
What do you mean by that, Ralph? What do you mean?
I mean, all their news coming out of Bethune-Cookman University is basketball. We haven't played our first football game.
Haven't played our first football game, and it's basketball galore.
Basketball.
We'll have to get that changed or worked out or something. Is there a way?
I think tomorrow night, when the Wildcats go to Miami, they go into Pitbull Stadium, come back to Daytona with a victory, we'll shut all the basketball people up.
I want to see it, Ralph. I'm ready for it.
Well, you're going to see it. If you go down there or watch it on TV, you're going to see our Wildcats being victorious at FIU.
My man, my man. All right, we'll put it to the side now. Let's talk about assistant football coaches. So, coming out of last year, we had some changes after the end of the season. Coach Gerbino went to Colgate along with one of his coaches that he had while he was playing up north in New York. Uh, then steps in Coach Pimp. What does that transition bring for us? Does it hurt you? Does it help you? Where are you at with it?
Well, I think it certainly, on paper, appears to certainly help us because all people have been talking about on social media from last year was the classic football game, the FAMU Cookman game, and how Bethune looked so prepared in that game and so different offensively, especially from what we'd seen all year long. And, for a while I didn't know what the difference was, but then you started hearing that Coach Pimp called the game. And so if in fact he builds on what we saw in Orlando, that bodes very well for the Wildcats.
Yes.
It definitely bodes well for the Wildcats. And, what was the final score of that game? 41-38?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the excitement in the stadium, it was a wonderful game for TV because no one expected it to be that close.
No one. You had to stay in your seat to the end of the game.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
And it hadn't been that way in a while. Either it was going to be,
No.
decided maybe the beginning of the fourth quarter, or it was already out of hand before it got in the fourth quarter.
So there are I thought about that and I don't know the history behind Coach Woody in terms of building a staff and bringing Coach Gerbino. One thing I will say is that Coach Woody was very loyal to Gerbino.
Yes.
It was awfully hard watching that offense for 2 years.
Yes,
It was awfully hard watching that offense. And so to see that Pimp was on the staff and he comes in one game, adjusts the offense, and we put up 38 points on a Florida A&M team, and our running back runs for over 180 yards or 178 yards or something like that. And we had not seen that type of production out of anybody in 2 years on the
definitely not.
Side.
Definitely not.
So something happened. I don't know what it was that triggered that, but I can tell you this, and you mentioned it last night. We saw it. You see it whenever you are around this ball club. We went to practice last night, and there is a closeness about this team, not just the players, but even the coaching staff. There's just something you can see if you watch practice.
You could definitely see it, Larry.
It jumps out. It jumps right out at you, And so that gives me a lot of hope. We got to play the football game, the games on the field. But that's something I had not seen the previous 2 years.
And we're showing the picture now online, but that's the whole offensive coaching staff standing there.
It was simply awesome to watch, and even with the players, there's a connectivity here with this team that we had not seen the previous 2 years. And so, if in fact I know you tabled basketball, but there's another part of that we need to come back to maybe later on, because while you may be tabling basketball, we've got to talk also about scheduling of football.
Man,
please don't
We've
get
got
to
to
schedule.
talk about that, because
we'll get to that at the end of we're gonna get there.
but to me that's the next missing piece of the puzzle if this ball club is what I think it's going to be, because I see something I've not seen the last 2 years, and I think other people will see it when they go to the games themselves.
And Larry, not only it's the buzz around football practice. And everyone, we step out there last night, and the equipment manager, one of the equipment manager walks up to us. He's jovial. They're handing out the tags for your bags for travel and things of that nature. Then, I see, a couple of people. We have a young lady from Lake City, which I'm from, who, she's displaying her travel tags online. It's just the pride around the team. Coach Woody comes over, talks to us, all the coaching staff. The guys come up and
I've not even seen Coach Woody this.
no, no, mellow is the word.
There's a calmness about this ball club, and they believe. They
really truly believe, Larry. They truly believe.
And if somebody says, "Well, sometimes maybe you're too young, you don't know any better," but this team is different, and it really is across the board. Dad, I don't know if you saw at the end of practice, after everybody had gone, the linemen out there practicing and then running the field.
What did I tell you earlier, Ralph?
I mean, I was like, what is going on?
Even until the lights turned off. Of course, they're on the timer. Yeah, and they're still out there. They're frustrated because the lights shut off. It's.
But I think attitude wins football games.
Oh, it does. It takes you a long way.
And if you look at our season last year, there are 4 games that we should have won.
Yes, sir.
Not for this or that. People don't remember, but we went 5 overtimes with Southern at Southern. We're about to close out clock, and we do something crazy 10 yards off the field to give clock an opportunity to come kick a field goal. So I truly think that attitude and maturity wins football games.
It does a lot for you, Ralph. It does a lot for you. And we're going to cover it here shortly. Not just that, but we got a new tight end coach. So Coach Tobridge, and I'm going to say the best for last while we're talking about offense. Coach Tobridge comes from Purdue, has a background from the NFL as a tight end. Just another jovial guy, happy to be here. Can't wait for tomorrow night here at Bethune-Cookman University.
It brings the energy about it.
It does.
That's infectious.
It does.
And you feel it. And very pleasant person comes up and greets you. I guess what I'm saying, when we would go to practice last year, they were practicing, but it was a tenseness about it. It was like they were never free to really play without a chip. I mean, without a weight on their shoulder, not a chip, but a weight on their shoulder. Now they're making it happen, and they're enjoying it. They play for each other.
They do. They definitely play for each other. Definitely play for each other. So it'll be interesting to see tomorrow night how we come out and show against those guys in Miami.
And I want fans to watch the sideline, because the last couple of years our sideline,
it's in disarray.
Oh my God! The only persons you could hear were the cheerleaders. Okay,
right.
But these kids pump each other up. They clap and cheer each other on. They celebrate each other, and that's why I say they play for each other. And when you start creating that kind of continuity, that kind of togetherness, good things happen. They happen because now it's not about me. It's about the fact that you're playing for your brother.
Right.
And that means a whole lot. That's that team. There's no I in the team. And so
none at all.
That's what I'm seeing. And I've not seen that in a long time at Bethune-Cookman.
Let's talk about our guy, running back coach Pat Brown.
Well, I tell you.
I think that's the most important hire we make.
I tell you. You know, when I first met Pat Brown, for the first year he came to play, first and only he played for Coach Jenkins. He was an unusual young man. He really was mature far behind his years. You couldn't believe he played football. He was a good football player, but he was such an articulate and smart guy. You know, he's a business major, a banker.
Right.
You know, it gets people to kind of gravitate toward it. And so he has been a huge hire for this football team, a huge hire.
Yeah, just to see Pat back and everything he brings back. You know, his stops have been high school before he left here.
And won.
Out off
And
the
took,
stage.
Sea- took Seabreeze,
Yes.
which has been limited on talent, and they went to the playoff and almost gave Lake City all they could handle. And I know Daryl was right there watching it.
Definitely, I was announcing that game. And it was you know, I didn't even want to walk over their sideline after the game because I was like, man, they gave us a run for our money, and then the next week comes mainland.
And listen, the truth be told, Seabreeze played Lake City better than Mainland did.
They did.
They really did.
They did. Which was, I hate to say, surprising to me, but that's the culture that has been built. So.
That young man has head coaching.
It does.
Head coaching characteristics written all over him. One day he's going to be a head coach.
The fact that he's
at
on the
collegiate level.
he's on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah. And he's a student of the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, you know, in the past, we always questioned who's up top because you never knew. Now we almost sure who's going to be up top.
Well, the other thing that everybody had big question marks about going into the season, we lost our best running back.
Yes.
We lost Dennis Palmer. And everybody was so afraid, you know, about the critical nature of the loss, and it was a critical loss. But I'm telling you right now, that running back room.
Come on with it, Larry. Come on with it.
We have right now. I'm telling you, boy, y'all in for a real treat. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
Y'all in for
I
a
think
very
so.
real treat.
I think so.
I'm telling you, it's a deep running back room, and it's talented.
Very talented. Very talented. And you'll see a lot of it. And there's going to be so many combinations. It's going to be unreal. It definitely will be unreal what we see. So, guys, let's talk about the defensive side of the ball. So, some changes over on the defensive side of the ball. You have Coach Mounds and Coach Wembley as co-OC, DCs. I'm sorry, co-DCs. What does that do? I was there to see the change at Mississippi Valley State. That's when Coach Wembley went upstairs. And, of course, that's the first game we win. And there was a huge change there. Now, yes, Coach Mounds was on staff, but now you turn the meter up some because now you have co-defensive coordinators. You have guys who, with Coach Mounds coming from the Auburns and places like that will pay dividends. And he is not quiet at all. He's a dog.
And the interesting part of Otis Mounds, you know, that I almost missed, because Otis Mounds, if you know anything about South Florida football, Otis Mounds was probably one of the greatest running backs to ever come out of Broward County. He led Fort Lauderdale-Dillard to a state championship title game in Daytona Stadium as a senior. And he went to Auburn as a running back. I mean, a top-notch running back. But when he got to Auburn, he made his fortune at Auburn and fame on the defensive side of the defensive back. And I did not know he had that versatility about him. And then he went into coaching, and you would have thought he would have been on the offensive side, but his his prowess is on the defensive side. He is highly regarded because he's learned the tools of his craft very, very well at an SEC school.
You know, the question online, and we're going to get to some of the questions. Has he changed to a more of a 3-3-5 defense? And I think we're going to be more multiple.
We're going to be more multiple, but we're going to be more attacking.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing I want you to look at. The previous 2 years, I thought we sat back and caught too much.
Yes.
But now we're coming downhill. We're attacking. We're getting after it. We're going to change the line of scrimmage and try to play in other people's backfield. So that's the first thing you'll notice about the scheme. And I think we're getting people in the right position. We got a little more size at our linebacker than we've had inside for those pounding runs that people have made against us. We're a little bit bigger there. So we're different. It's going to be a different scheme, but you'll see that the attacking nature of the defensive philosophy that was not as much in place the last 2 years.
Most definitely. Guys, we've covered the coaches, the change in the assistant coaches, and what they have brought to the program so far this year before we kick the season off. Facilities.
Can I ask a question? When we talked about Coach Pimp, maybe I missed it, but did we emphasize the fact that one of the main things that you will notice about the new Wildcat offense is that the ball is going to go to the playmakers. They're going to get the football to the playmakers in space and let them create.
Let them make plays.
So the ball will come out of the quarterback's hands quicker. And I hope that means we're not in a lot of second and third and 14s and 16s, because we're going to show that football is going to be spread all over the football field. We'll be able to run it, but we're going to also get it to the guys in the slot and the guys outside and let them make plays. So that's one of the biggest things that I've noticed that's different from Coach Urbino's philosophy and Coach Pimp's philosophy.
You know, the other thing, Coach Urbino's offense was pretty predictable.
Yeah, it was very vanilla.
I mean, you didn't have to do a lot of game planning for him because you know pretty much what he was going to do. Every series, he's going to do the same thing. He's going to run off tackle the first play. He was going to try to get to the corner the second play, and the third play he was going to throw a home run. And teams pretty much knew what we were going to do. But I think with Coach Pimp, getting the balls to the playmakers where it's going to be a lot of one-on-one, and I'm going to juke you and I'm going to get away from you. I think that's what we got. I think that's what I'm looking forward to. That's what I'm excited about.
they are.
Yeah, I mean, because with this new atmosphere, with this NIL, you got to do a lot to convince a kid that he wants to play for your school. It's because now it's all down to money.
All down to money, Ralph. All down to money. So, guys, let's talk about APR. We out of APR restrictions. We get the 4 hours back. So, what does that do for you when you get your 4 hours of practice back? It takes you a long way. I know they're very excited about it.
Yeah, it's a home run, because really, to be honest about it, Coach Woody inherited that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was not something he created. He
Yeah.
inherited that from the previous staff, and so now to be able to get those extra 4 hours that that we lost, per week in practice, that means an awful lot. It's a lot of practice time. Might not sound like it, but it means a whole lot from that standpoint. And the job that the kids have done with their GPAs and the academic support staff and coaching staff staying on them about study hall, putting the time in, they're actually, you get a sense that you are a student athlete now. You're emphasizing academics along with scholarships.
Yeah, you're definitely able to get a lot. And knowing him, you got to have, as he said on the Av show the other night, you got to have a 3.0 to be on this football team. And he strives and pushes that wholeheartedly. They're now working on the Gil Lemoran Center over there, and that's going to prove a lot of dividends to just helping the program. It takes a while to truly build a program. And it feels like this year is that year that you're finally, the classic, you start turning that corner. You start turning that corner even more. You start turning that corner even more. And you're here now to build upon it.
Oh, yeah.
To build upon it.
You're so right. There are, one of the things we've been inundated with NIL and all of this stuff that has happened over the last 2 or 3 years with college athletics. But somewhere, and I say this as a former academician at the collegiate level, somewhere we've got to emphasize, especially to our student athletes, that the game of football or basketball is not a game you play for your entire life.
No.
You've got to win in real life, and you got to have some academic skills. After those years of playing football, basketball, baseball are over. And so to see the message being more about becoming a student athlete rather than just the athlete
coming to play football. Right.
Because the game of life is the real game you got to be a champion in.
Yes, it is.
You got to have some skills to play that game.
When you leave out of here, because
it's over.
Ralph, how many people are in the portal?
About 10,000.
How many people are going to stay in there?
About 9,700.
Let's move on, guys.
And that's the kind of message that they need to hear.
It is. It truly is.
I mean, especially from the lower Division I kids, they go in that portal, they're probably not coming out.
Yeah. Glad to have you joining us, Steve Holmes. Thanks for joining us tonight, man. Love to have you on the show here in a few weeks. Definitely love to have you on the show.
Steve does a great job.
Yes, definitely so. Definitely so. We're working on some collaboration stuff, and it's going to be great. Bethune-Cookman is definitely on the rise. Definitely on the rise. We'll table sports marketing and publicity for right now because, as we spoke earlier, it's not there. It's not there yet. Not as far as football is concerned. All right, so this is going to be a little touchy. Season ticket purchases. All right, we'll move along. that. We'll get to that when we cover the schedule here in a little bit.
You sure?
Oh, for sure. It's in the script. It's in the script.
It needs to be.
Fans attending games. If you missed the Florida Classic this past year, you missed a treat, as we said earlier. Yes, we lost a couple players to the portal, but this coaching staff replaced those guys, and I think we go a lot further this year if we take that mantra that we left from the Florida Classic and put it into this year, which we have seen from practice so far this year. I think we're going to see that. But we still need fans attending. Tomorrow, 1 o'clock, Let's Go Wildcats taking the bus down to Miami to see our Wildcats take on the Panthers. Come out and join us. If you'd like to catch the bus, letsgowildcats.org and book your seat on there. Coach's show. That's another part of sports marketing, though, but it's still not there. Thankful to Steven and persons of that nature for hitting on our football program, getting in depth into our football program, and trying to show our fans. There were some questions asked the other night during the show. There was also been some questions asked from the staff, from fans, and partly of the staff, like what goes into picking a captain for the football team. What is a captain of the football team? Any of you guys want to explain what a captain is of a football team?
Larry, I'll let you have it. I got my ideas.
We'll start off, then we'll go to you, Ralph.
All right.
Well, one of the things I can talk about it from the standpoint of what it has meant through the years of Bethune-Cookman. It was an earned opportunity because it's centered around leadership.
Definitely.
It's centered around the fact that you had identified people who were your leaders. And I think we've heard Coach Winnie say this from the time he got here. He's always wanted a student-led team. And I think a lot of that is that when you think of leaders, you talk about people who hold others accountable. They lead, but they lead by example, and so therefore they hold each other accountable. That's what I'm seeing with this ball club that we've had, we have now rather, because there's a certain accountability that just was not there prior to this season. Now, we announced our captains and the captains for the team this year, and I think that's keeping in line with that mantra of what I just said. Guys who there's sometimes people who are vocal leaders, and there's other leaders who lead by example. Some people are quiet, but they're leaders. Mm-hmm. But you identify that characteristic that makes them special. And I think we've done a good job this year in picking some leaders. I guess what we have not mentioned, and I need to say this, we all bought the hype last year because all we saw were the stars by the names. There are no stars by these names right now. There's no prima donnas in here, And I think that's how you build a program. We're a lot younger ball club, but boy, I tell you, we're a lot better ball club. And I think the fact that we've identified guys as our captains who have led, who are leading, that gives me hope that those who are coming behind them, now the standard has been set, and you know what it's going to take to reach that particular plateau of being considered for captain.
Because what you want is your leaders to be somebody that everybody else is looking up to. And no matter how things are going, the guys that are your captain, you would never know whether it was going good or bad because they keep the same tempo. And guys are looking at that because when things aren't going good, it's easy to say, well, there's no sense to me putting any more effort to it because it ain't going that good anyway. But if you look at your team captain and he looks about as enthusiastic as he did when the game started, that gives you, say, oh, maybe we can do this. So I think the three we got, I think it's the three best we could have gotten.
Yeah.
I think we picked three good leaders.
Because when you look at them, and as I said, some are verbal, some are less verbal. You know, they lead by example. But one of the things, if you follow this team and you follow the contributions that they've made since they've been here, they've been consistent. They've been steady.
Very consistent, very steady.
Nothing has been given to them. They've earned it.
Right.
I'm going to Eric Reed in the comments. In college, the great captains have just as much influence as a coach.
Exactly.
Rasheed Mathis was by far the best. They're very much respected.
Yeah. And I think you can look back, like I said, through the history.
Oh, yeah.
Through the history. You saw, I know when I was in college, Ralph, when we were there, the captains that led Bethune-Cookman, particularly under Wesley Moore, they were those guys led.
Yes. Yep.
And that's, guys, that's what it's all about. Guys that, hey, I'm going to pick the team up when we're in those battles, when you're in those 5 overtimes, and you need somebody to rally you. That's what a captain does. That's what a captain does. You might lose the battle. That's when that captain, I always remember, and I hate bringing basketball up, but there was a gentleman who was walking off the court, and the point guard went over to him and pushed his head up. That's what a leader is. We lost this battle, but remember what just happened tonight, so it never happens again. That's what that leader is. It's all about. That's what it's all about.
And so I've seen some of these things. I don't know what transpired with it or why, but Bethune-Cookman is always like most schools. They play that alma mater at the end of the game.
Yes, sir.
We've seen some things with if you're a freshman and you don't know that, you have to be taught that you win, lose, or draw, you stay for that alma mater.
You stay for that alma mater, and you're locked into it.
You're locked in.
Not having a conversation over here,
Exactly. And that's the culture that has been a part of Bethune-Cookman for years.
It definitely has. It definitely has. And it's the tradition. That tradition is definitely coming back. As I said earlier, this is truly becoming the program that we've always wanted. We might not have had the win so far, but that'll come. That'll come as you continue to build and you establish what it means.
You build it, Daryl, you build it brick by brick.
Yes.
You build it one day at a time. It's a teaching kind of thing. More things are caught than taught, and it becomes a part of you. A lot of it is the fact that, whether you're an athlete or not at Bethune-Cookman, students attending Bethune-Cookman should know the history of Bethune-Cookman.
Yes, sir.
Because it's like no other real history. I tell students all the time, you tell me another college in this country or anywhere in the world where the founder has left you a last will and testament. We don't ever have to guess what our purpose is.
That's exactly right, Larry.
She left it. And so that shouldn't be lost in this NIL era or in this social media era. When you're at Cookman, you need to know that history.
Yes, sir. Very much so. Very much so. Let's talk about. We'll put a pin in that, and we'll come back another week and talk about those things as they come. Let's talk about this 2025 Bethune-Cookman football schedule, and then we'll go through the roster. Up first, of course, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. kickoff in Pitbull Stadium in Miami. we go down and face FIU. And let's get through the schedule before we get to. We're going to build up to that. I'll start it now. Should FIU be your first game? We had a talk, and this is a no holds barred show.
I don't want to say that they shouldn't be, even though we are 4-0 against them. But let's just go back a year or two. Coach Woody's first year at Bethune-Cookman University. We go down to Miami. We lose our first and second string quarterback. We leave Miami and we go to Memphis. Okay, so that was their first year. The regime who was making the schedule, that was their first year. Then the next year, we go to South Florida. We leave South Florida. We come back and we play Mercer. We leave Mercer, then we go all the way up to Western Michigan. You gotta. And even this year, you go play FIU, and then the next week you go right back to Miami to play University of Miami. Then you leave the University of Miami and you go to South Carolina State. I'm not going to even talk about the fact.
Or frequent bus miles.
Yeah, I'm not even talking about the fact. And then somebody decide to take Southern game and take it to Tampa. I don't understand what's the deal with the schedule.
Well, I can tell you this. I've been through some of the high moments where we've won. And I've been there also broadcasting with some of the low moments. We didn't win much at all. And so when I looked at the successful seasons that we won and had championship teams, the scheduling was a critical part of that success. When Alvin Wyatt took over as the head football coach at Bethune-Cookman, he took over for Jack McLaren, who had stepped in
right
after Sylvester Collins was relieved of his job. And Coach Wyatt has always been a winner. But the key to us building was that the schedule was always set up strategically so that you're not beat to death before you even get
to the conference.
Yeah. And I think that's so critical right now because, we got a brand new president, BCU rising, BCU, all of us all in. All of those are wonderful, and it's happening. We've never seen, I've been yearning for this because the last 5 years, I couldn't even breathe when I drove by Bethune-Cookman. It was hard for me to even drive through there. But now that pause has left us.
It has.
So something wonderful is happening in the form of Dr. Albert Mosley being our president. And we've got the largest freshman class that we've had in years, if not forever. And our football team is being built, but it's having to come up out of the ground. We've got to be more strategic in scheduling. It's not just about going to get $1.
It is not.
It's not about that. And the most important thing, I'm going to say this, and I don't know whether I'm right or wrong, because I don't know how they do this, but if the head coach of the football team is not at least involved in the schedule, as you're building it, if he's not involved with the scheduling, then there's no transparency there.
Right.
That should not be.
Not at all.
Because that has not been the way it's been done before at Bethune-Cookman. Like I said, I don't know how they go about doing it. I just know it's awfully odd. It's like something I've never seen before.
So next weekend we'll go back down to Miami. We play the University of Miami 7 p.m. kickoff on September 6th down in Miami. Weekend after that, we will travel, September 13th, we'll travel to South Carolina State. That's a 6 p.m. kickoff in South Carolina State. One thing about it, thank God, it's not an earlier kickoff. Because the last time we were there.
Oh, my God. The last time we were there, we had about 10 guys in the band fall out. It was that hot in South Carolina. It was awful. It was awful.
Thank God for the 6 p.m. kickoff. Saturday, the 20th, 2025, our first home game against Edward Waters University, and a familiar face will be across the sideline from us.
And I anticipate that is going to be a game that draws a lot of people.
Yes.
Because I know Duval is going to travel.
Yes, they will.
And Brian's going to have them ready to play. So I understand, that there's a lot involved in the game, and in the sense that Coach Jenkins coached here, and he's now the head coach there. But monetarily speaking, we should make some money off of that game, because that's a short ride for the people coming from Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. And they have a pretty good ball club, and they're anticipating a real breakout season. And we know Coach Jenkins, he's going to hold his kids accountable. So it's going to be a very interesting scenario. The only question I had about your schedule right there was, I know South Carolina State has been a traditional school that goes back with us through the SIAC years, before they left the SIC and went to the CIAA. And we played them out of conference a few years ago. Terry Sims last year, But then they came off of the schedule. Gentlemen, they are the defending runner-up national champion. And I get the fact, that maybe they had an opening, but I don't know with what they have coming back. We're gonna play the game, and I'm certain that hopefully it'll be a competitive game. I just didn't see that game being on our schedule. I really didn't. Even though I think it's a situation where they prefer, and they'll tell you, South Carolina State prefers to play us, and they prefer playing FAMU because they say the rivalry is a better rivalry for them. Those are the words that they've said. But I was looking at that and I was like, wow, I would have preferred to play them a year or two later.
Yeah.
Or further down the schedule.
Or either further down from that standpoint. So, again, I don't know. I mean, the schedule is what it is. But if we're talking transparency, somebody ought to at least give Wildcat Nation an idea of how this thing is done. Because I get the fact you got to have money. Don't get me wrong. I get that. But I'm going to go on record and say this.
It's got to be shared, though.
Our season, the success of our season, there's no other way to put this. The success of our season depends directly on how healthy we come out of the first 3 games.
Yes.
Because those first 3 games are going to be brutal. So if we come out and we're healthy enough to go into the SWAC, we can cause a problem in the SWAC. If we come out and we're all broken up, then I got to look at scheduling.
Most definitely. September 27th, 2025, we will stay at home. 3 p.m. kickoff against Alabama A&M here in Daytona. On October 4th, 2025, we'll travel to Alabama State for a 2 p.m. kickoff in Montgomery. October 11th, change on the schedule. We'll travel over to Tampa Stadium for a contest against Southern University for the Tampa Bay Football Classic. Now, you buy season tickets, Ralph?
Yes.
What's happened with that ticket for?
I'm waiting on my refund. I mean, I bought two season tickets.
What about your parking pass?
I bought two parking pass. And I usually give one away. I always give a ticket away. And then, of course, the parking ticket. But you don't get that much communication from athletics. You know, it did say in the letter that your refund, you will get a refund. But, I mean, I think if they should have known all of that before they even put that together, though. I mean, I don't know. I'm not very happy with that situation. But again, because I also think that we should have played Southern in Daytona too.
Yeah, it's time. It's time for it to happen.
Yeah, the last time.
Pack your place out.
Yeah, the last time we played Southern, we played them in Jacksonville. Okay, I can understand that because Jacksonville is sort of like a Wildcat city along with A&M. But Tampa, I just think that's crazy. We could have filled Memorial Stadium up.
Somehow I can hear Rudolph Gonzalez Matthews saying, in all the years that we have played Southern, and they're not a traditional, for years we were not in the same conference. But Southern has never in football been to Bethune-Cookman in the history of the two schools playing. Never.
Never, really?
Never in Daytona.
Wow.
Now, it hasn't been a lot of games that have been played. Now, we played them in Jacksonville twice.
Yes. I was at the first, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We actually played them in Jacksonville 3 times. So, that's real. But to never bring them to Daytona at all, that's amazing.
October 25th, 2025, University of Arkansas Pine Bluff comes to Daytona. Of course, that's homecoming here in Daytona. So we look forward to seeing everyone on the 25th of October. Then we bring Mississippi Valley State into Daytona. 3 p.m. kickoff November 1st, 2025. Then we'll travel to Grambling State University on November 8th. 2 p.m. kickoff there in Grambling, Louisiana. And then we will round out our road travel with on November 15th, 1 p.m. kickoff against Jackson State. That's actually a noon kickoff. So the questions being asked, and then we, of course, the Florida Classic, November 22nd there in Camping World Stadium in Orlando. So the question is asked on Facebook: why was the Southern game relocated anyway?
I think you're going to have to go on International Boulevard to ask that question. Because, I mean, I don't know.
I have no idea either. I don't know.
Was it that somebody came in with a grand scheme idea and was like, let's take this game to Tampa and we'll play this game at somebody else's stadium. You'll lose parking. You also lose the gate.
Guys, USF right now is playing Boise.
Boise State.
And I started watching that game, getting ready to come over. And I looked at that stadium and I saw how empty it looked in spots. And I remember we played there last year.
We sure did. First game of the season. August 29th.
And I'm trying to anticipate where the crowd is going to come from for that Southern Cookman game. I mean, in a stadium that large. But, you know, I don't know. I mean, hopefully there'll be some information provided about the refund of the tickets and everything. And like I said, moving forward as we build this thing, as we build whoever the coach is in the future after Raymond one day is gone and retires or whatever, whoever. We got to recognize that scheduling is as critical a part of your success as having a great team.
So Travis brings up a good point, but it's not that weekend. So he said Biketoberfest.
It's not that weekend.
No, it's the 16th through the 19th, and that game is played on the 11th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people had asked that, but I was telling them the same thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't that weekend. Because Bethune
We're off
for
that
years,
weekend.
Bethune Cookman for years. We never played home on bike weekend,
Right. So it makes sense.
Yeah, because it was so hard to get hotels.
Right.
And
Exactly.
so the hotel association got with, the previous athletic administration, and the conference knew that, and so we were either off or we were out of town. It's the same thing in basketball. Bethune-Cookman and Florida A&M never used to play in Daytona the weekend of the Daytona 500. It was home and home, and you couldn't get any hotels here when the races were here.
Right.
So that was always an agreed upon process that the MEAC had when we were in the MEAC.
So we'll make the best of the schedule and do all we can to make the best of it. And,
Well,
we got to go play the game.
inquisitive
No matter.
minds, we would like to know, a little bit about how did it all come about in that regard. But hopefully some information will be shared with us down the road. And I hope that they get a crowd. I hope it's a success. I hope we make money off of it. That's my hope.
So it's been said online, promoter promises and ticket prices for Southern game are higher than the Florida Classic.
Wow.
Shout out to Coach Gene Desmond, tuning in, watching us tonight. They're down in Miami getting prepared for the game tomorrow. Guys, let's go to something that gives us joy. Let's talk about the football roster real quick. We'll get to golf after football, but we'll play that on Sunday. We'll play that on Sunday after the football game's played. Texas. We'll take Texas on it. All right. Larry, who sticks out at you on this roster?
Now, guys, I told y'all last week, I told you all I wasn't going to go through this roster like I did last year. I'll just simply say.
Off the top of your head, then. Forget it, Stallion.
I'll just simply say, this is a very talented roster. We lost a lot in the portal, but we picked up some players, not so much transfers, but even freshmen. It's a good-looking class, but we picked up some really good transfers as well. They don't have the stars by them.
Right.
But they're really come from successful ball clubs, championship programs, and they're guys who are going to make a play. Going to make plays for us. But for me, if you had me,
okay, let's go through it like this, like we normally go through our show after the game. So, quarterback room.
I think Amari Jones is a really quality young man.
Most definitely.
Out of the Bradford County area.
Bradford County, yes, sir.
Prior to that, he played in
Valdosta, yes, sir.
And then he decided to go to FIU,
right,
for 2 years. And but what a lot of people don't understand, this kid is a tremendous athlete. He's a good-looking specimen. He not only led his high school team to deep into the playoff and eventually lost to Cocoa. But in basketball, he took them to the state championship, which they won. He's a basketball player and football. Very athletic young man. But
very
he's
athletic.
A quality guy. Fits what we're doing. He's a big kid, about 6'5", 6'2.5", 6'3", about 220 pounds. He can run and he can throw. He's athletic.
And then we added Timmy McClain. And Timmy,
Timmy McClain probably 4 years ago was the #1 high school recruit out of Central Florida. He was on the Orlando Sentinel top 60. He was top 5 and dual threat quarterback who came out of high school and went to South Florida and then stayed there for a year and then transferred to UCF under Gus Malzahn.
Definitely.
And then most recently played for Butch Jones at Arkansas
State. Right. And we have Cam Ransom returning. Cam, man, looking at him yesterday, lost some weight, chiseled up, ready to go.
He's got to love this offense.
Yes.
Because it takes a whole lot more pressure off of him. All he has to do is get the ball to the playmakers, and if the opportunity is not there and presents him opportunity to run, he can still do that. But the ball is going to come out quick. He doesn't have to hold that ball as long as he was trying to hold it last year.
But the kid that I think the 3 kids you guys just mentioned, I think they're going to be great. But the one kid that I'm really, really fired up about is the running back.
Oh yeah, the running back.
Juan Rodriguez.
Oh, the whole running back room.
I don't think he can replace the kid we lost, but he's going to make you forget the kid that we lost.
Yes.
Ralph, he's a more versatile back.
Yeah.
You really need to see Juan Rodriguez in the passing game. He is something else, and he's a back that can make you miss, but he can really run between the tackles really, really well. Very strong, low center of gravity, good-looking back football player. Was on a championship-type ball club. Everybody really had picked New Orleans to win the state championship. They lost to Berkeley Prep. Same year, Travis and those went from Mainland and won the
right, won the Cent, right.
Same year, and they finished runner-up, but they were clearly one of the best, if not the best teams in South Florida that year. And he was a major part of it.
Yeah. Who's another kid in that backfield room? He has a nickname. What?
Chino? You talking about?
No, Joystick.
Oh, you talking about Joystick? Oh boy. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you right now, this young man is out of Pahokee, Florida. I think he wears number 30 on the roster. Is that what it is, Ralph? Let me see. Yeah, number 30.
Yes, sir. Yes. Rashawn Brown.
Some Bethune-Cookman listeners may be able to go back to, I say, the early 80s at Bethune-Cookman and will remember a local young guy who was a high school phenom here in Daytona Beach. One gentleman named Stacy Charles. We used to call him Silk at Bethune-Cookman. He played for Bobby Frazier, played for Bud Ash. Rashawn Brown is a running, but he is an incredible athlete. He's the number one. He was the number one athlete coming out of Palm Beach County, the western part of Palm Beach County. Just a phenomenal kid. He did everything to Pahokee and was wanted by the schools. But he said he wanted to go someplace where he could make an impact right away. But when you watch him with that football in his hands, he is a very, very special kid. Happy to have him. Did not know we were going to get him because he was not on the national signing list that we had recruited.
Right, definitely.
But his nickname is Joystick.
But see, that's what I'm saying, though. We lost a really, really good running back. But I think we brought some kids in that's going to make you forget about that kid and concentrate on. We got at least 3 of them that I think is going to be exciting ball players.
Well, you got the young man who led Mainland to their last state champion, Kamani Robinson.
Yes.
And he put up some incredible numbers.
Definitely put
for
up some
Maryland
great
2
numbers.
years, when Travis and a couple of years ago. A tremendous all-purpose running back, could catch it, could run it. And he completed his high school career over at Seminole. Um, and just so happy he considered coming to Bethune-Cookman because I think he's going to make a major impact for us in that running back room.
What about that wide receiver room?
Well, I mean, you got Huggins coming back, and then you got the kid
Jenkins.
D-Land, Bam Bam.
You got Bon Bon. You got Jenkins returning. You have Ricky Shaw who comes
Watch
in.
Ricky Shaw, and if you doubt, Ricky Shaw is out of Jacksonville, Florida, Riverside High School, formerly Old Lee High School. He went to Wofford out of high school, and a lot of people were consider going to an HBCU. I know Cookman was in the mix for him, but all he did at Wofford was break two receiving records. He caught one touchdown one week for 99 yards, and the next week we went 95 yards, and the next week 99 yards. He is a baller. He's a 6'2" wide receiver who can catch and stretch the field, but he's a great athlete.
Great athlete.
And he's being, if Raymond Woody mentions you, in his conversations, Coach Woody was talking about his leadership ability. He's come right in, and he's one of those leaders, and he leads by example.
Definitely.
And he leads by example.
Definitely leads by example. Guys, let's go to the tight end room. Morales, man. Miles Morales, man. Miles Morales. We were practicing. Oh, man.
Like you said, a good-looking kid.
Yes.
He really is. I think he's out of
New York.
New York.
Yeah, New York.
But was he the young man that came from Delaware State?
Yes. He came from Delaware State.
Delaware State.
Yeah. Formerly out of New York, came here.
6'4", 230.
Yes.
But when you see him, and he can move, he can stretch the field.
Yes, he can. Yes, he definitely can stretch the field.
Now, guys, he's up at the wide receiver room. How about the fact that we lose Dennis Palmer, but his best friend, who he helped recruit, University, he talked him into transferring to Bethune-Cookman. His name is Dane James. He's about 6'2", 6'3" wide receiver out of Jensen Beach, Florida. He is the guy. He can make all kind of catches. And he's here, even though Dennis is over at Troy.
Troy, yeah.
Guys, let's offensive line.
I think the offensive line is for itself. We brought back 3 kids who started last year, a couple others that played earlier and got hurt. I think probably the offensive line is probably the most solid group we have out of all the groups. I think the offensive line is going to surprise a lot of people. And I think tomorrow night you'll see what you got on offensive line.
You definitely will see. And we've remained pretty healthy up there through fall practice and things that nature.
That's the biggie right there.
Yeah, it
we had a lot of injuries on that line.
Things that nature.
That's the biggie right there.
Yeah, it
we had a lot of injuries on that line last year.
Yes. We'll move to the other side of the ball. D-line.
He brought a lot of talent on the D-line. We're a lot stronger there this year than we were last year. And he brought some very interesting pieces in. We should be, I'm not quite sure. I can't really say a whole lot about the defensive line because I haven't seen them really.
Right.
There's a young man
because I haven't seen them really.
Right.
There's a young man that came in last year with that Barnett class for us who never really quite got on high school team that went to the state year in and year out, Orlando Edgewater.